while planning while making your business plan, you consider your market. How, in your opinion, are we still too limited in the way we target our market? When we think of doing businesses in Germany, do we potentially just look at which African will buy or what Africans will buy? Is that maybe a reason why we have many, many small businesses run by Africans, but which all happen to be, sorry, not all, but which mostly happen to be Afro shops? Are we too limited in the way we target our market? And specifically to your branch, I want to believe that not only Africans come to book tickets. So.
Thank you very much. I would like to first of all thank the Chessons for giving me this opportunity to speak out so that Susan will change her mindset about me. So thanks once more. I would like to say, when you are about to start up something, you first of all have to have a background idea. What leads you to take a particular direction? You don't just get up in the morning and jump into tram 105 instead of 103. So there is a motivation. So I would like to say it all started, first of all, we have dreams. It all started when I saw one of my mentors getting on well in this field. My uncle. I think he's known to most Cameroonians in here, as we are all Cameroonians, I think. He's known to most people who left Cameroon in the 80s and early 90s. He was the supervisor for Lufthansa Cameroon and later Sabina. Okay, coming to Germany, in the days when I used to study in the University of Halle-Saale, we were just about 20 Africans, about 15 Cameroonians among. So that gave us, we were like the limelight of our community there. There were many Africans and they looked up to us for certain services. Of course, the first one, translation, to accompany them to offices and so. This brought that social aspect. It woke up that social aspect in me. It led me to get elected in a historical election into the Supervisory Council for Ausländer, for foreigners in the city of Halle-Saale. So, as a councillor in the city of Halle-Saale, I had to work with many people. It's a social service that you offer to your community. And this gave me the idea that our community needs some advice in the way they go about their daily activities, businesses. So, after my studies, I got into the working world, which did not keep me quite satisfied. And that dream, which I had while studying, because I had a professor of management science, who always talked about success, but 90% of the time, he talked about his private business. You consider that gave him more joy than what he was doing for us as a lecturer. Yeah, so looking at the working world, reporting to somebody, and of course, even though Dr. Ivo looked at our black color as a corporate identity, sometimes you find that it is some sort of a disadvantage to you because you find a less qualified guy busting out on you. So sometimes you think twice and you recall, you say, oh, it's better to be like that professor who finds a lot of joy doing his private business. So I looked at our community. We have many travel agencies, as you know. As Dr. Schreiber said, you need to specify, make a difference, offer something that is unique. Even if it's not unique, it is offered in a very specified and so appealing to your target market. So looking at the market, I didn't then limit my target to only Africans, because if you do that, you fail. We don't have, as our sister Tata said, we don't have the financial might, the population as well. Germany is not yet as, can I say, integrated, or can I say mixed? We don't have that mix as in places like America, where it doesn't matter whether you're black or white, you just pop in, you deal with a black or a white. So I would like to say I didn't, and I don't target only Africans, because if you do that, you fail. So you say, if you look at my flyer, or if you look at the magazine, you see that I don't sell only flight tickets. I also try to make sure I look into our community and the society where we are, what the Germans, what the Africans will require. You style it. Take the best part of the services. Make it easier for people to understand. Make it easier for people to get those services. And then, of course, try to make it affordable. We offer many services, as I just said. That in that way, we diversify our risk. We have more customers coming in for one thing, and they end up getting another thing. Someone pops into the office, maybe to do money transfer, and then sees that, oh, yeah, you can book a flight, travel, and pay even in 72 months installment. Instead of just sending the money, he spends 30 minutes there and books a flight. So this is the opportunity that we have to look for. What can you do that is specific, that brings somebody to you and not to the other person? Somebody might come there just because they say he sells tickets, but because they say he can also offer you the possibility to have tickets without stress, the possibility to finish your transactions concerning your travel, to send your money before, for your people to clear your goods before you get home, the possibility for you to rent a car while in Africa, the possibility maybe for you to rent a car here to get you to the airport, and other small services attached to them. We do translations. You need to translate your documents, maybe to send them to the ministry if you need to go there and do business. We do it for you very conveniently. You all travel, you need visas. You don't need to bother yourself, to stress yourself, how do I get this visa? How do I call the embassy? Some people complain, they will call, they won't answer. That's not a problem. As you're coming to book your flight, you see that, oh, they also do visa application. Or then, in that case, I'll do everything here and go and sleep quietly. So that makes it possible for us to target not only our African community, but the Germans. Thank you very much.
You're very right. I changed my mind.
So fast.
Yes. We talked a lot about diversifying and about the financial power that we as Africans carry here. Going by statistics, we are still not yet, we're still getting to 1 million Africans in Germany. And among this million, we could be about, say, 300,000 Cameroonians roughly. Or 20,000, it's not even up to 300, thank you. Roughly, you know. So if you want to go by that, it's not really, if you're a businessman, it's not really that might. But yet, it's an important minority. Don't get it wrong. It's an important minority. Yes, it is. It's not insignificant. It's a significant one. There's someone back there who really has something very interesting to say. They're laughing so loud. Okay.
I said it's a growing minority. Now we have so many kids coming up.
make that one extra euro out of your job. When I listen to these people speak, sometimes I have the impression they're telling me, Susan, go quit your job.
Yes, be your boss.
Sometimes, you know. We talked about diversifying. We talked about the financial power as a community, and that we should stop having this tunnel view. We should look out. We should, you know, integration is not really when you speak the language and when you can eat sauerkraut and drink a big glass of,
But it's also part of it.
and drink a big glass of Bavarian beer. That's still all integration. But there's the part of the mind that is more than just doing that. That's seeing you as one, realizing that actually if I'm going to sell a glass of juice, it's not everybody, every human being has thirst at some point. And on the street, not just Cameroonians are walking on the street, and many of the so-called Cameroonians are actually Germans. So this man is very right when he says he's got many Germans here who come to buy their flight. So within that twist, he's also right. Put your own spatial touch on it. Your own spatial touch on it that makes your glass of juice different. Coming back to what Dr. Ivo said, if it means putting your African stamp on it, your African touch on it, put it. Coming back to the financial might, there's always, I don't know, when I listen to business gurus speak, they always say, never start a business with your own money. I don't know if that's right, and I don't know if that's wrong. But we have a lady on board. I would like to direct this question to her because she's been organizing festivals for a long time. She knows what it means, how to manage the finances behind those. And I'd also like to couple my question to her also with the aspect of the market. We'll come back to the market. Because during these festivals, the bazaar is always a very important part of it, where maybe nuts they don't fulfill, they are not put in the same uses like you and I would maybe use a mortar to grind something, but to some other person come from the outside, it's a wonderful piece of art, you know. So I'd like to direct my question to her. When you're, as an entrepreneur, is it easy as someone who came from the outside, you know, in German you call them Quereinsteiger, someone who is coming horizontally into the society like most of us did. We were not born, raised here, we don't have a financial history that's here, we don't have like an account, Kindersgeld and stuff. We actually came from the outside, horizontally. We get integrated. Have you ever encountered such difficulties when you like go to banks or go to institutions, starting your own business? How are they receptive? Does it play an important role? Or at least the color of the passport, you know?
Whether it's green or red.
Right. Thank you, and I'm happy to be on this podium, I think for the first time, and I'd like to share my experience with us. The first thing I would like to say is that Germany or Europe is bankrupt. That's the first bitter truth. They're not only financially bankrupt, they're also bankrupt in ideas. And that is why, if you come back to terms like getting financial support, they depend on Africa. We did not come here, actually, to work for people. We came here, like Dr. Ivo said, I just want to support the point that we're like ambassadors. You come, you look at a society that is already at the limit, at the margin, and say, you come to rescue them. That's the way you have to see yourself. You don't need their money. You don't need their bank. We need to work together to create our own bank and give out our own credit. And this is the problem that we have. From my experience, I never went to the bank. I, like an entrepreneur or visionary, like we said, because those are two different things. You have to differentiate. Being a businessman is actually what a traditional thing that we have here from the hard skills. You know, you work to make profit for yourself. Entrepreneurs or visionaries, what do? Just like what Ms. Bay is saying, you know, you do a business model where the community benefits from it. Believe me, we Africans, we are so rich and so strong that we even know. If you're going to a conference that is going to educate you about that, ask yourself, what do I benefit from it? If you don't have anything to benefit, stay at home and make a party. The thing is, I don't know whether Dr. or I got diagnosed this kind of thing we call mental cancer. That is the problem that we have. And exactly this is the problem that Mrs. Susan is saying when you go to a bank. How do they look at you? You don't need that, believe me. You don't need it. I went through all those steps and I asked myself, why should I punish myself? My investment is you, is us. We have just one this mental cancer that I'm saying. We don't network together. Look at here, we have 3 magazines. I'm also going to present mine, African Active. We just had, which magazine is this? Session, that somebody just bought for 1,000. Sorry. If you bought it for 100, so you're owing 900. The point I'm coming to is that, and we see the mother magazine, Africa Positive. If we all came together, we say these flyers. I'm very practical, that's why I will not go to storytelling, I will just tell you how it works on the practical basis and what we need to do to succeed. If we went to, say, Africa Positive, they have now a FLAC, and we have to print these magazines from them. It means all of us, we're going to develop and grow. But I printed my own, I don't know where you did yours, flyer alarm, whatever this stuff they call. They print their own on the internet or something like that. Who are you working the money for? Who is this money going to? And then tomorrow when they tell you this money is going and we give a, I don't know whether a fee to Africa for development and we are annoyed. The problem is we have a mental cancer. We don't trust ourselves because we are made to know. We are made to know that anything that they do, they will print from fire alarm is quality. That is the point. No, totally wrong. We need to work together. We need to have a common bank. Why? Let me just explain it to you. You know why we need to have a common bank? Because when you go, if you come to the bank of Sessions, even though my husband is one of them, but I can't pronounce it because he's not been on board. Sorry. Sessions has a bank, for instance. If a business guru that is sitting right directly in front of me, Mr. Roland, will go there, Sessions will deal with him differently. There would be no column. Even if there's a color, there will be flexibility. If you don't pay in the prime or even the interest rate on it, we'll understand. We'll know that I trust him, he's an African, he'll bring it. The problem is we don't even trust ourselves. We start by criticizing ourselves. We start by saying, no, it's not good enough, I have to buy from a Chinese rather from an African. So who are you giving the money to? This is the point. There is nothing about beating about the bush. The problem is us. And I think if I'm here today, it's just because I want to tell you, my focus is the diaspora. Like the brother said, believe me, I don't have time to educate the Germans about what Africa is. They have to look for that themselves. But I have time to see that they are socially misfit, and I can bring in my social culture to make my Africa. And I think this is what Africa Positive has achieved for this time. And you see how clever this woman is. I respect her for Ima. She said, they call me and they pay me. They don't pay her to talk about Africa, cleaning the image. They pay her for the damage they did to Africa. You understand? And this is how she earns a living, and applause for her. She's an entrepreneur. If somebody tells you that there is money in Germany, believe me, Germany is living from third world countries. It is bankrupt, there's no money anymore. If you go there and they start telling you bring 1 million of papers, it's because they cannot even give it to you. Because they don't have. And please, the disadvantage is if you take a credit from a bank. I was very happy Dr. Schreiber was not giving us the possibility. I held my hand and said, please don't even give us the possibility because we don't need it. Because you put yourself into what they call a killer disease, slow poison. The moment if you buy a house, for instance, and you cannot pay it, and you lose your job because that was a collateral, baby, you die of slow poison. This is not the right way of doing business. We are damn rich. All of us, we have a potential. And this potential is to see that we can fit it into this society and rip it out of ourselves. And I decided to be a boss because I said, I looked up and said, I have to fire my boss first to become a boss. What does that mean? Somebody is paying me. Somebody is paying me. Come on, then I look, what does that person get? He has to determine when I wake up in the morning to be at the office. He even determines when I have 30 minutes break. I can't even finish a banana coconut. You know, you have to be rushing with coffee and stuff like that. I say, no, stop it. But the disadvantage or the advantage is also that when people work 40 hours a week, you gotta work 160 hours a week. But the problem is you are physically tired, you are mentally healthy, and you know you're doing something. So concerning finance, if we put our one-one finance together, I see when we go to African shops and we buy or we drink, believe me, monies that we spend, I've never seen a German spend that kind of money. When we come to social gatherings and we raise funds, and I see how we Africans we spend, even on our dresses alone is enough money. We have it. The thing is, how do we invest it collectively to be able? So my proposal was, we got to get a bank. When we get our bank, Susan, you don't need to look at the color of my passport, isn't it? You look at the color of my heart and my skin. Then you give me the money. Thank you.
At this point, we'll do a quick rundown of all the points we've touched so we don't get carried away. You know, we have the richest man for the day sitting right in front of me. You owe us 900. Well, you might be thinking when to just do the bank transfer. So we'll bring you back first to the conversation, to the discussion. We've been talking, the striking points we've had, you can use as a springboard to start on your own boss, to be your own boss. You don't need to be afraid. You have the physical stability. At least you survived Cameroon. Then we also talked about using your person, your heritage, your story as corporate identity to your own advantage. What makes you so unique that this other person just has to lack you? And because you know they lack you, you become a need, and then you become demand. And I don't know, there's something to talk about scarcity and demand. The drugs economics are complete, but I remember you had this word. So you become demand. Now we talked about the character aspect, which Mr. Tamfo addressed. Talked about character and how far it takes us, and that it has to do a lot with your mindset, which also relates to how you perceive yourself, you know, how we perceive each other. If I can't like myself, if I discuss the fact so much that I'm African, I'm always at the downside. These people are always getting on me. Before someone says you did something wrong, you say, no, that's because I'm African again. You know, if it's maybe, you know, change your mindset, start seeing what you have, see your potentials, realize that we are actually the future, because as Susan rightly said, Europe is not only financially but also psychologically bankrupt. Then Mr. Najima focused on the diversity, and specifically the diversity of the market. After you put all of this together and you want to go out, you have to think of how diverse your market is. Then we talked about partnership, when you go to take, or if you ask for financial support, or if you're considering how to start your business and you need finance, think about the fact that actually you're a partner. because you're bringing something to the table. You're talking as equivalents, a balanced discussion and deals as being made, and not some kind of donations. And she rounded up with the word mental cancer of distrust. I don't know, we doctors, we have an international catalog of all diagnoses. I can't remember, there's nothing like that in ICD-10, is it?
It's from Mars. It's from Mars.
But we could introduce it.
There's been an expansion of psychiatric diseases.
So on that note, I want to say we here don't have that cancer. You know, we don't have it. If I were a religious guru, I would say ban it. Ban it in. You can do that better than me. So let me have your trust. Let me have your questions.
Wow.
Just open my paper and I get to the point.
Who be you?
Okay, my name is Belinda Obi Lepkes. I am a Cameroonian. I've not been here for a very long time. Here, don't ask where, anywhere I was. I am a Cameroonian. I've not been in Germany for a very long time. I've been here maybe 9 months at most, but I was in Britain. I came here and blah, blah, blah. And please, I'm an executive. For those who know me, I have, or let me say, I'm blessed with a lot of talents. But that's the reality, please. But the problem is, maybe some of us have a lot of talent. You work for people, you make their businesses to progress, you give them ideas, but you don't know how to get there yourself. Sometimes you need mentors. Sometimes you need people to guide you. So before she spoke, I had written down a lot of things. I wanted to start from Sister Suzanne, like from the beginning, and give out my points. When Sister Suzanne said something about mindset, I was thinking of saying that my mindset about Africans or Cameroonians is that we don't help each other. And secondly, I wanted to say that we have to have a circle. We have to have a circle meaning information. We have to have a circle where I know that I have these potentials, I have something which I can bring out, I have something which I can make Cameroon to have a name, but I need to know where I can get advice on how I go about it. My third point was to be informed about conferences, as my other elder auntie said here. Some of us love going to conferences. Ever since I was in Cameroon, my quotes, I'll be very, very short. You know, my first conference I attended was in Congo. I'm not rich, but I can put in all my best. I can do in all my best to be industrious to get what I want. It means I used to sell shirts to my colleagues and do things to get, I paid my flight. My mother told me that she never saw it very important. Yeah, she's a strict woman, yeah, for me to go there, but I had to go there because I knew the importance of where I'm going. Coming back to circles, we have to know which conferences are important for us. And the fourth point I want to say is everything starts from the beginning. Let's not leave here. This meeting was really, really a good one for us because it re-energizes some of us and makes us to stand firm and really want to be what we want to be.
Thanks to Session Germany.
My fourth point is that let's start from somewhere. Now, many people have heard what they have said. They feel like being what they want to be, but is there, I don't really know, I'm not really informed. Is there somewhere that you can post something that all of us can see and be informed that this thing is happening next week? Yeah. Those who don't want to go will not go. I will go, another person will go. And another very important point I want to say. I might have money to do something, but I don't have the connection to get there. I might meet people. I have, I do a lot of talking when I meet foreigners. I might meet people who have this or that, which can help us. I met somebody who has a company here and who wants to reinvest in Cameroon, but I don't know who to meet. So from here, let's start from here. As she said, practical is what we need. Let's be practical now and let this conference give us a network where those of you who have succeeded can help us.
Thank you so much for that input. I have paraphrased on what you said. That was very, very dynamic, very powerful, and very original. And I'll paraphrase your question into two. First, the question of mentorship. You know, who holds my hand? Who kinds of pat me, not determines me, but like pat me left and right to make sure I stay on track and achieve my own vision, not his. And secondly, the question of networking, you know. So those two questions will be taken down, and Mr. Tanfu will talk on those two questions after. We'll take two other questions so that we'll just expatiate on them all at once.
Okay, I'm sorry, but I would have to first of all take Dr. Quincy Azonwara, and then I will take Dr. Mrs. Ngando first of all, but we'll come to your questions, please.
Okay, so the introduction has been made, so allow me to do it here. My question actually goes to Mr. Kane Tamfu as well, even though I guess other people can answer that question. And he talked about the issue of education in Cameroon. Now I have the view, and that's what I want to ask you, because feel free to criticize or change my view. But my view is that the reason why we are not succeeding in business is because we are not groomed as businessmen. So the reason is because I've never heard, ever since I was growing in Cameroon, that I will ask you what you want to do, just like they ask you us in class. Everybody wants to be a pilot, an engineer, a doctor. I mean, if a man talks to a businessman, they say... So we are not groomed to create businesses, in a sense that every time I go to school or I'm trying to have something, they say, okay, you're studying this, who will give you a job? Nobody will give you a job for this. Why don't you go and study that? Because that's where jobs are. So we're always about getting a job. And nobody is saying I'm studying it because I want to create a job. So I want to ask the question that is it some sort of a miseducation in our system? Does it start from primary school that we are groomed to think that we just have to depend on other people to have jobs? That's the question I want to ask you.
Yeah, we'll come to Mr. Tanfu has, it's like everybody knows that he doesn't like to talk, and it's like everybody's trying to make him talk. And he's great to talk. So he's already had 3 questions so far. Doesn't mean the other panelists cannot expatiate on that. So we'll take one last question, and this time from...
About the amount of people who are here for this forum. This makes me somehow to doubt the idea of my brother, who said we are still lacking. I believe we are awake. We are not too sure, but we are like a baby who is trying to walk. And you know, there are stages to work. You have to first scrape, and then try to stand, and then take the giant step. I believe we Cameroonians right now in Germany, we are at that level. We're struggling to creep. Some of us have stood already, and they're trying to pull us and help us to stand. This makes me understand that we are really hungry for knowledge, and we are hungry for success. Please receive my appreciation. And dear Sheson, I want to use the opportunity to thank you for organizing such a forum. This creates a room for us to exchange ideas. Just like my sister Belinda said, she's also secretary like me. She's actually a social secretary and I'm a general secretary.
Wow. Family secretary.
She said, we really have many ideas, but we don't know how to go about them. And this forum creates this connection. It makes us to know some people who are able to help us or to give us ideas to be able to stand. Before I ask my question, I want to support two facts which were just spoken. The first one is, we are in Germany, we have to integrate, it's true, but how do we do it? The doctor sitting up there, I've forgotten the name, I'm sorry.
Dr. Aze, or Dr. Ivo, as most people call him.
Okay, dear colleague, excuse me. We need to use the opportunity we have in front of us. For example, he said, like the lawyers and the steuerberatus, we have to use them. It is very, very true. I am a very good example. My husband is a business administrator, and before I married him, I had a family and I had kids, and I used to employ babysitters. Can you all imagine? I hardly had more than 2,000 euros back from my taxes as tax return. But when I married him, he did my tax returns. Believe me, I had 8,000 euros. Believe me, if I just went to the steuerberater, I would have had that money back. I would have, and I went back to finance and tried to claim back all the money I'd lost. They told me to keep me alive. The time is gone by. Please use your steuerberatus and your lawyers. It might cost some money, but believe me, you're going to earn more. On top of that, my sister said, we have more money than the Germans. It is, you might think it's ironical. It's true that they are born here, they have their grandma who has kept so much money for them, but they have a deficit to be able to give out that money. They don't have that quality which we have. Some of us, when we meet just at our Jangis, we all know, I don't need to say how much we give out. And if we are all connected together, like in this Jangis, for example, we don't need to go to the bank. The bank will only steal more money from us which we do not even have. Please. Okay. And now, my question is it possible that we all get connected in a way? The Jasons, the Exos, the Summons, and so on and so forth, so that tomorrow, if I need, for example, somebody to print my magazine, I don't need to go to the German, but to see, for example, my brother Clement, he could maybe produce something for me. Is it possible we create something like that? Please.
Okay.
Very socio-political question from Dr. Azam Wara. How far is our upbringing miseducating us and thus hindering us from becoming entrepreneurs and risk bearers? So,
I'll keep it short. Education as we know it is not working. Why am I saying that? On the 13th of September 2008, the financial world changed and changed forever when Lehman Brothers went bankrupt. That's why I'll go back to say that that's why the money you're looking and the approach you're taking will not work. I'm sorry to disagree, but Dr. Schreiber's business plan will not get you any financing. I work with investors and with good investment bankers. No one will read a business plan. I don't read any business plan beyond a page. Let's get to the practical. Talking about mentorship, and when we started the program today, I think Sake mentioned 3 things. We are suffering from, and I took down notes, limited in business sector, limited in clientele, and limited in information. The good news is we all have that. The difference goes back to what I said. It's our mindset. Those information, we have it, and we have groups that can make those available. But we are only looking as Cameroonians, we are looking just within Germany. We are looking within North Rhine-Westphalia. We are not looking at Africa. You should be talking about business and looking across Africa. And that's how any business should be operating. Specifically, in terms of mentorship, if there's anyone that is interested in entrepreneurial mentorship, see me after this. That's what if there's anyone that has a business plan that is viable and can prove consistent profit on the next and has started and invested their money for at least 1 or 2 years, then see me as well. So that's as clear as it can be in terms of connection. And going
business angels.
The truth is this: we can call it any name that we want to. And one of the specialty I come from is financial engineering. And financial engineering, as compared to the normal mechanical engineering, is that you take a problem and translate it to a solution. So long as we keep complaining, so long as we still see the problem, we will stay where we are. And that's why I go back to your question. Our education taught us to be employees. In order to be a boss, we need to start doing action, action, action. No matter what you want to do, start today. If anyone had a dream or had a thought in mind, my single employers, when you leave this room, start looking for those partners, start looking for the products, make the first call.
When he said, if you need any information, contact me after this, I had some resonance on this table. Any Tata said, me too. Dr. Adenga said, me too. Okay, to my right was a little silent but because they are already taught me too. They already taught it. So at this point, Dr. Adenga wanted to add to that, and then after that, Susan will add to that as well.
So, if you remember me saying one thing on the right beginning, I knew nobody would understand what I said. I said because I was a chef, and that's what made me take that decision of being independent. But we talked about everything, we condensed everything here with our discussion afterwards, and that's what is very agreeing to me. Because, we won't give you a solution, but we will give you a method of approaching or solving the problem, if there's any problem. And that's what we are here for, mentoring. So, the education, what went wrong with our education? I think nothing went wrong with our education, really, because that's what I'm saying. I think nothing went wrong with our education. What went wrong is we didn't keep on asking ourselves questions. And that's what I'm trying that we get out of here with. Ask yourself questions, challenging questions. I repeat this. I've been in Germany. The first thing that touched me in Germany was how the Jews kept on asking questions of what happened to them here in Germany. But I remember, and I don't remember most of you, I haven't had that questions of what happened with us with slavery in Africa. I haven't had that as questions. If we've been asking those questions, we would have had solutions. So I think that's what I said, what I was interpreting when I said the education that they gave me, and that's the point I will try to bring. If you see the education that they gave me, if you see the table here, we have a boban, we have ladies here, Secret College, we have no bobans, we have no ladies, we have mainly boys college, but that independence that you have, that they gave it to you, you must ask yourself, why? Keep on asking yourself, why? I mean, it's very difficult to ask yourself those questions, challenging questions. Do I have to educate my children the way my parents educated me? If you don't ask yourself that question, have I got to baptize my child because my father baptized me? If you don't ask yourself those questions, you will never be a businessman. And the entrepreneur keeps on asking questions. You don't sleep and you keep on asking questions. So that's the real point about it. So if you ask questions, you have solutions. If you don't ask questions, there will be no solutions. And I think that's the point of our education. Our education has always kept us to say, okay, go be scholars. But I feel if you just get that small point on it, ask yourself the questions, you will have the solutions. We have the solutions in us. So just ask the questions and you will have the solution. So that's the point I was trying to bring out when I said being in session. It just led me to ask questions. And I keep on asking these questions every single day I stand up. I mean, I'm in the branch, I have to ask questions. I'm in the branch of computer science, a fast-moving branch. The branch moves fast. I have to ask questions. I mean, when I started when I went into college, I never had such things as an iPhone. But I know what's going on in an iPhone today because I keep on asking questions. I don't stop sleeping and ask questions. And I have solutions for these things. Not because I studied them, because that's the way they brought me up. I mean, that's when I went back to school. And as you said, if you ask yourself, where did it go wrong? Primary school, I would say it went wrong in kindergarten. That's where it went wrong. Because we don't train our children to ask questions. When they start asking questions, we say, stubborn picking.
Strong head picking.
Strong head picking. So we should have room for strong head picking. And we should understand what that really means. Strong head picking doesn't mean, it means innovation. Innovation is when you see a child that comes out innovative and you ask yourself questions, believe me, you'll have answers. And believe me, the children have answers to questions, difficult questions that you don't even imagine. So just open your minds up for that. You as an entrepreneur will have solutions to that end.
Miss Vegeta, I'm sorry, Miss Annie Tata, Mayor.
Yeah, I was busy in the first half, trying to answer the question about finance, and it almost dawned on me that I didn't even say why I'm here. So I'm really happy that that question came up. The thing is, just to add a little bit on him to say, our education is not short. But the thing is that we're taught to think differently. What about the Bamilikis? What about our parents? What about our mothers? We all know about the marketplaces, the Manchester Trust. They never had a business plan. They were never taught how to do business. But they are the ones contributing to the economy of Cameroon that people are lending money from. So did they teach them business? No. The thing is, we're busy trying to please a system that we don't fit into it. That's why Mr. Tamfu said, the business plan that you see doesn't work. Exactly, they give you questions, you just have to twist in your aims and objectives to suit that before you can get anything. And by the end you finish filling that form, they distort your aims and objectives. I'm saying it because I am the CEO and founder of International African Festival. And you know how difficult it is here to sell not just this kind of a culture, but this kind of a lifestyle. And when we started, you always have to go on like the normal copy and paste thing to ask for public funds. But before you know it, they twist your aims and objectives to give you that money. And at the end of the day, who do you serve? You don't stay on board again on your train. In 2010, I said, no, I will not be a mental slave anymore, a modern slave. So I have to stand on my own. If you go onto our homepage, www.africafestival.net, and click on our team, it is a team of professionals, doctors, engineers, that I also put this self-empowerment into them and say, you know what, we don't need any other people to always give us the rule how we do it. You can do it. And now we have a powerful team. What are our aims and objectives? Is that we want to reward every African living in Germany. We're starting with that. Our next festival is coming up in August, from the 8th to the 11th, and our target is to get every diaspora in Germany be on that festival. First point, why? Because we want to reward ourselves. Why do they say that we are not progressive towards Africa? Who says that? Who says that? Look at Western Union and MoneyGram and prepaid card. Who are the ones sponsoring their businesses? Please, I want to get something from you now. Don't you go to Western Union every month? Don't you go to MoneyGram every month? Even if you are sponsoring your siblings or the community, that is enough development. Who says that? Who writes about that? Have you ever seen that anywhere? No. Because what? You want to clone us and put us into a place where you look at yourself and say, I am not good for myself. No. The Africa Festival Tübingen has as objective to tell the diaspora, you know what? Stop. We can do our things by ourselves and we progress even more and better. So when we come together, this is what we do. We need network. My little daughter, I can call you my daughter, my junior sister. I was very impressed because of what you said. When we come together, what do we do? Apart from celebrating, which is also our lifestyle, what is wrong in that? There is too much stress. We need to relax. We need to chill. You understand? If not, we go crazy with these daily hustles. So when we come, we have a business and social forum, how to get investors to invest in Africa. And we are also offering a platform for African entrepreneurs to meet business partners. You know, South Germany, they're very solid. They're the backbone economy of Deutschland. We have the Schwäbisch, you know them. Everything is about money. We don't speak good German. So you will not hear them from me, but we know where the money comes from. So these are the programs. And then one of our main thing about Africa Active is we want to do consulting. Consulting for who? For African entrepreneurs. I was just telling you, see me after this. We have the same concept. You know, and we form a network. You need to be a membership, just like what IHACA do. And we offer these coaching workshops, how to design a business plan, how to meet up with your target. Look at our African shops. Are they attractive enough to get a German to buy from there? Be honest with ourselves.
No.
Do they look like supermarkets here? That is one of our objectives. To do a product presentation in where when you come in, it's appetizing. How do we label our products? Is it appetizing for people to buy? No. So the best thing we want to do is Africa Active. We're doing a network of entrepreneurs, and we offer those services for diaspora in Germany, and we also have services for diaspora in Africa. Those who want to come for Ula because they're really rich, believe me. They don't come to work fabric, they come and enjoy and go back. So if you really need that network, it's already on the way. You can get information from anywhere, but like I said, before we leave from here, we have to exchange addresses, and we would move mountains, believe me. Thank you.
So, on that note, we'll give you a break so you can start networking. And if you came here being a very humble child, I'm sorry, you have been declared strong-headed. Yeah, and to add to that, strong head is Gachon cool. Look at this table. I see just very good. And looking back, I even see even more. So network amongst each other. We still have questions. Please, we'll take a 5-minute break to refresh your minds, stroll around a little bit. We'll be back in about 10 minutes to take the last session of questions and feedbacks. Thank you.
5 minutes, please. Just go out and come back.
May I know your name, please?
My name is Glory Chungo. I studied European integration studies, and I have a master's in European law. And I was so impressed to be here because I have been thinking of creating my own business, but to be represented politically in Germany. Because when we go to offices, we are marginalized. We know our rights, but they try to suppress us. And I've been in several instances that I have argued and fought my way through, and have to alter certain laws in order to place my own in. So I believe that if we can create an African women lobby here in Germany politically, then we can be represented politically. So it is good that we also think of advocating for women empowerment politically and legally, so that we can also take part in the decision-making process here in Germany. Like for instance, sometimes if we could have this political group, like when they try to deport some immigrants, there are certain laws in place that we can also argue and put them through and see that they try to make some changes to suit us in. Because we are already living here, this is our second home, and if we are part of the system politically and we take part in decision making, I am well trained, I'm trained in developing policies and to follow up with policy implementations. So, and I am also a legal arbitrator because I took part at the World Trade Organization court where I represented Germany. So I have this talent, and I am also looking for a network, a good network where I can start to see that I fit myself into the German society politically and legally.
Wow.
Yeah.
And in a nutshell, can we say you're very satisfied with the program today?
Oh yes, I am quite impressed. I'm so satisfied. I love what the speakers, both of them just said, and I have now, at this moment, I have an idea where I can go for information, where I can start to create my network. So I am so happy that I was part of this symposium today.
That's great. Okay, thanks a lot. Thanks for your time. This is Manunga Studio, and it's well known for broadcasting such programs and things like that. And this enhance the African diaspora. We are very grateful that you could spend this time to tell us about your impression. And we really want to say thank you.
Welcome.
Good evening. Please, may I know your name? Manunga Studio. Yes, here is Manunga Studio. Yeah, please, I would like to know your name.
Yeah, my name is Quincy Azamara.
Okay. We've had a lot of programs going on today, and we just had programs like African diaspora. I would like to know what are your impressions about the program?
It's going very well. I mean, I'm very impressed. I hope when I leave there today, I will really want to be my own boss. I like the way it's going.
Yeah, is there any lesson in particular, let me say, you've learned from the program we had today?
Yes, I mean, at least, I would not say it's a lesson, but it's an idea I've always had that has been strengthened. The fact that we have potentials, and we need to believe in ourselves to make it, and that we are strong. And this has been confirmed today by these panelists who have been ready to give us this information, to hopefully educate us, and it's not usual that people want to tell you their secrets, but I'm doing it, so I'm very happy.
Okay. I would like to thank you for your time.